Greetings and salutations, everyone. It is I, Mallory, and this is Lunch with Mal. StreamYard is not as good at making my hair look like it doesn't have frizzy flyaways as Google Meet is. I'm like, wow, my hair didn't look like that last time. Oh, shoot, this message is wrong. I forgot to change this. Pay no attention to this message. That's not where this video is. To fix that silly thing. If you want to watch this video on YouTube, then I can't post messages, and that's funny. The system can post messages in Facebook, but I can't. Anyway, I can't change that message. It's just stuck. I have this overwhelming urge to try and dig in to fix that, but I can't right now because I'm busy doing things. But yeah, so hey, folks, sorry I'm a little bit late today. I was running around getting some stuff done after I had a call. Um, and it was working with an author on direct sales ads. I am doing like more and more and more direct sales ads these days. Um, and I tell you, this time of year at Christmas, people are selling. Hey, Jill, and hey, Miss Campo. Um, People are selling a lot of print books on their Shopify websites. It's pretty awesome. I've got one author I'm working with that has special edition hardcovers, and we're selling them like hotcakes on their website. It's pretty awesome. Oh, that's amazing! Your first royalty payment. Congrats! That's awesome. I know you've been working toward this for such a long time, so that's really awesome that you're there. Jill, Jill read the description of this video, which is 2026 is coming. Are you ready? And apparently, Jill's behind by half a decade in preparedness. But yeah, I was thinking about the topics to talk about today, and this kind of came to mind because we are 1 week out from American Thanksgiving, and then from then till from then on, the rest of the year just evaporates, right? Um, so really, this is sort of our last almost calm before the storm period to start thinking about 2026 and what our plans are for 2026. So, of course, anybody in the audience, feel free to chime in the chat with what your plans for 2026 are, or lament if you have none. I'm curious what people have going on. Um, So yeah, so as Campbell says, it's for the September pre-orders, starting 2026 with a bit of income. That's nice. What do you do for holiday sale discounts? I mean, what a person does for holiday sales discounts depends so much on how many books you have out, what they're priced at, that sort of thing. It doesn't hurt to do like a 99-cent sale sometime during December, but you have to decide, like, is it a series of 5 books I'm doing a 99-cent sale, or hoping to get the read through? Is it the only book out? I'm going to do a 99-cent sale in the hopes to sort of build up readership. There's there's a lot of different angles, but I'm generally, other than like very short periods of time, like maybe a day or two, I'm not a big fan of doing free sales. So I'm much more of a 99-cent person uh, in that regard. So I think something about 2026 for a lot of us is that it's got more uncertainty probably than any year since COVID. We're not sure what's going to happen. There's a lot of questions about the economy that people are facing, and a lot of people are taking like wait and see approaches to to their planning for 2026 because you're just like, well, I don't know what it holds, so I'm not going to go and spend a bunch of time planning. But the problem, of course, with that is that if you're taking a wait and see approach, you're only ever going to be reactive, right? Like you're not going to have plans in place, even just a general plan or plans in place given certain contingencies. So I really think people should, despite the uncertainty and despite like worry that we don't know what's going to happen next, I think people really should think about, um, from a publishing standpoint, like I need to make a plan for what I'm going to do next year. Sorry, Mr. Camp, I can't quite keep up with everything you got going on here. Um, you definitely you could sell your paperback at a discount if you wanted to. You're not going to move a lot of them probably. Um, Most people focus on just doing ebook discounts. But I think a big thing that people should be thinking about planning wise is is expanding your active marketing beyond just the United States. Right now, and there's a lot of different reports showing a lot of different things, but generally, a couple of reports are showing this pretty clearly. Consumer sentiment is actually up in a lot of places right now. Canada actually has improved consumer sentiment going into Christmas this year. A lot of Europe has improved consumer sentiment. I don't know for sure about Australia and New Zealand. And the United States has negative consumer sentiment right now, where consumers are expecting 2026 to be worse. And a lot of other places are expecting 2026 to be better. So that consumer sentiment is affecting, people's purchasing plans and whatnot. Um, which means it makes a ton of sense to really think hard about diversifying outside the United States with your marketing and your advertising. A lot of people are doing that with translations. And if you haven't used it or heard of it before, Scribe Shadow um, is a fabulous way to do that. It costs you about $50 a book, give or take a bit, to do the translation. And the translations are very good. They're not as good as if a human did them, but they're also substantially less. And they also have a service that you can get where they'll have a human go over it. One of the things I've heard though is that the people that are going over the translations to make sure it's okay are really just looking for more egregious errors in the translation. They might not be. They're not going to it at the level of going through and checking like, did this idiom or figure of speech translate properly? So take that with a grain of salt using translations. But that's definitely one way that you can move outside the U.S. Germany is a bit saturated, but France is going strong, and some people are seeing success in Spain and Italy for that sort of thing. But of course, if you don't want that, there's always the United Kingdom. They have a population about a quarter of the United States, so it's quite a few people. And if you have books that if you have very Amero-centric books, like books that take place in America and have a lot of Americana in them, those don't do quite as well in the UK. But if you've written stuff that doesn't take place in the States and it's a fantasy world, it's science fiction, it's non-specific about where it takes place, they'll do exceptionally well in the UK. And of course, if you have books written in UK English that take place in the UK, then those do excellent. So it's really makes a ton of sense to actually work on marketing in the UK. I actually work with some authors who do so much better with their book sales in the UK, they almost barely even market in the US at all. So it can go both ways, absolutely. Like it's not only a situation where your best is always the US, and sometimes you can do well elsewhere. You could actually find that there's other countries that you can do better in than the States. Monica says, "Oh, nice. Complete, and then they're all released, Monica, or they're just completely translated in your sorry, why are words leaving me here? Anyway, you got my question. I'm going to chew my muffin for a second, but that's something that I'm going to be branching back out into that I haven't done a lot of recently. Um, and the other thing that seems to be unaffected by the economy is higher quality collectible books. And this is actually an interesting thing that happens um, whenever there's economic downturns. Luxury items are generally unaffected by downturns in the economy. Now, there's a bunch of nuance there because certain luxury items sort of reposition themselves in a way to become really affordable, and then they change their demographic, and then they tend to go down. But like things that are considered like really nice things that will last and provide additional value in appreciation. Um, I guess like you appreciate just looking at them, kind of thing, or having it, or feeling a sense of completeness in owning this thing. That kind of stuff doesn't diminish that much during recessions, and so that's where perhaps thinking about doing a Kickstarter with like a special edition could actually work out really well. Now it's higher risk because um, you've got you have to do some initial outlay of like getting a design done and stuff like that for the special edition, so you can actually have the Kickstarter, but you don't actually have to produce it unless the Kickstarter is funded. So that part's pretty nice. Oh yeah, yeah, Dennis. If you have a five-part historical fiction set in World War One, translations could definitely be really good for you. Um, I'm curious. Do you have carrier pigeons in your in your in your book. I was unaware of how much carrier pigeons were used in communication for wartime stuff, especially in World War One. It was pretty big. So I thought I'm now curious to know if you use that, because I read today that was actually a carrier pigeon that brought like new firing coordinates to an artillery group in World War One, and it was actually awarded a medal for like flying even when injured and stuff like that. So, and the other wild thing, I'm sure you guys will know this because you're a bunch of nerds like I do, nerds like I am who rabbit hole all sorts of things. But apparently, like carrier pigeons were used everywhere, and then when the telegraph showed up, we all just sort of like set them free. And that's why pigeons just live in cities with us, because they're like, I don't know, this is our natural habitat, right? So I think that's hilarious. Oh, cool! You do the carrier pigeons, nice, excellent. Um, so yeah, totally something that you can get into, and I haven't done it yet. Jill's pushing me so hard to do it. Um, she's done it for some of her books, and they actually sell better in Germany than they do in the United States, which is pretty wild. But I have to deal with some formatting stuff for my books, because I format a lot of my text isn't quoted normally, and the AI stuff has trouble with that. So something I need to deal with. Big fat pigeons, yeah. And pigeons are just doves, which is another thing I love. So the thing I read this morning said um, doves are just pigeons written in a different font. I thought was pretty good. Um, One thing I learned too is that the bigger pigeons are actually the younger ones, because they've got more fluff early on or something like that. But all we can always segues into animals are always good, right? Always do that. So, anybody else have plans for 2026 for things that you're planning on doing? I've got um, at least 3 books coming out next year. I have to get on writing them, because I haven't done any writing since I released my last book in September. In my defense, I've had a bunch of renovations I've had to do before the ground freezes and the snow flies. So that's been my top priority. But I'm just about wrapped up on all of those now. So the writing shall commence soon, especially because we're actually going to get, in about 2 weeks, we get our first what looks like a heavy snowfall that'll actually stick around. So I'm definitely on the clock for some final stuff. The main thing is like the house that we bought, the concrete in the basement is not great. And if water gets up against the house, it will just come into the basement, because the concrete will not stop that from happening. So I have to do a bunch of final work on making sure water doesn't get in the basement, so that come spring, the basement remains dry. Nice direct sales. That's if you, and especially if you have like cool special editions. I tell you, direct sales are the way to go. I'm working with one author who we are doing direct sales for a couple of her different series, and her hockey series right now. They're custom editions with sprayed edges. It's a 6 book series, but what she did is she put 3 books into a single hardcover. So to get all 6 books, you get 2 hardcovers, and I think they're like $60 a pop, give or take a little bit, and they're selling really well. Like, it's not proving to be a problem at all to sell these things. And on top of that, people are up like the ad links to just getting one, and many people are adding on the second hardcover. So it's pretty wild how well that's working. Um, Wrapping up a nonfiction series, 12 books. Just finished writing one today. After that, only fiction. Nice. Fiction's the way to go. I'm I'm actually thinking about doing 2 nonfiction books next year as well. Um, I'm thinking about doing an updated autobiography book, so adding in some more and fleshing out some more things, and then also doing a new version of "Help My Facebook Ads Suck." But every time I'm about to write, really get back into doing that, Facebook makes like a sea change in how they do things, so I haven't actually gone through and really hit it yet. But that's like on the radar. I'm actually strongly considering unpublishing the current version though, because it's so out of date. Should I hate having nothing up there? It's complicated. Monica says I have 1 release scheduled for January, then my other 2 F1 romance books. Nice. And then 2 more for the Fat Keeney series. Wow, you are crushing it. The Fat Keeney books, I bet you, are like ones that would do really well with special editions. Like if you're doing a special edition hardcover omnibus or something like that, I bet you could do really well with that sort of thing. Jill's cooking on her Kickstarter she's leaving it in pre-release mode for a while, kind of like looking for the right timing for when to launch it. But she's cranking in like 5 to 10 followers a day right now on that thing, since firing up some ads and then doing some campaign newsletter stuff. So that's how it works. She's going to get some Kickstarter goodness. I'm in this weird position where I have too many things I have to wrap up before I do a Kickstarter for new books. But I really do want to do a Kickstarter for brand new books that no one's read yet. I'm jonesing for it. But it's cool. I'm glad folks have plans for next year. And I think we definitely all need to think about a little bit further than just. I mean, I guess it depends where you are in your career. If you're early on, you've only got like a couple books out, you've got one series out, then yeah, your plan for 2026 is probably needs to be write more books, build that backlist. Backlist is like makes your income more steady, it adds credibility. It's just an all around great thing to have. And if you're in the zone, go hard on building that backlist. That's what I did in 2018. I just said like this is the year of building a massive backlist so I can just weather things in the future. Um, but once you have that backlist, then you do have to shift your business a little bit, thinking about like how can I make more money off of what I have. Work smarter, not harder. And I think for a lot of us, that's kind of what we need to be doing with 2026 is thinking, translations, making sure I'm marketing to other countries. Am I am I keeping like the top of the funnel primed? I talked last week about how like there's the sales funnel, and this is common sales lingo across the board. Um, and the top of your funnel is like people who might be mildly interested and trying to scoop them up and then funnel down to the people who are definitely very interested and are going to buy or going to read. So if you aren't constantly doing activities to fill the top of the funnel, in time, you're going to see the actual conversion events, the page reads, or the sales disappear. And then you'd be like, oh God, what do I do? It's like, well, the thing that you should have done was 3 months ago. You should have made sure you were still filling the top of your funnel. So now it's going to take a bit to fill the top of the funnel again. And even stuff like ads that may not be converting that well are still contributing to top of funnel activities because they're building awareness and keeping your name out there and stuff like that. Because as we know, people don't just instantly buy something the very first time they see it. I mean, some people do, but on average, people need multiple exposures. I still kind of interesting. Like I was talking with my readers in my Discord server today, and they were talking about when they first started reading my books, and a shocking number of like my hardcore Facebook readers, or not Facebook readers, book readers, came from Facebook ads, and they all talk about how they saw the ads multiple times and it finally wore them down, and they got into it. Like no one has ever said to me, "Yeah, I saw your ad once and I just clicked on it." They're like, "Yeah, I saw your ad like 4 or 5 times and I finally decided to give it a shot." So that process takes build up. So if you kind of stop any top of funnel activities, um, starting up doesn't give you instant results. You're like, oh shoot, I have to do this thing. I need to hop these groups. I need to like do some swaps or some book funnel promos or something like that. You're not going to see like these instant results. It's going to take time. So yeah, it's kind of wild. That's how it works, isn't it, Monica? I'm glad your ad's doing great, Judy. That's great news. Um, so where was I going to go with this? So, oh yeah, so a big thing that matters a lot right now, and I alluded to this last week, is actually having a reader magnet that is connected to the Facebook Pixel and that you're running a lead ad for. In our school class, I have a whole thing talking about this in the reader magnet class that we have, but it's becoming increasingly important to do that. So if you do anything next year, I think my biggest recommendation is committing to $5 a day for a reader magnet ad that just not only gets you new people into your mailing list and hopefully gets people reading a reader magnet, loving what you write and keeping on going, but also helps prime Facebook to find the right people, and it will actually make all of your ads work better by doing that. Oh, cool. That's awesome, Judy. Claude's getting pretty good. I have to admit, it's of all the AI tools, Claude's my favorite right now. I find that he does the best with creative work. Mentioned a few weeks ago that December 8th, 10th is optimal time for ads next month. That's can't remember the exact context of when I said that, but basically, what it kind of ties into is that starting next week, um, you don't want to start any new ads because you're going to be in hot competition with the most expensive Black Friday ads that are running. So basically, today or tomorrow is kind of your last time right now in November to start new ads. I would not recommend starting new ads next week. Um, 'Cause they're just going to have stupid CPCs. I still remember this one time for like an unknown reason. This was probably back in 20, this might have been in 2019 actually that I did this. It was Thanksgiving Day. I was sitting at the kitchen table, and for some reason, I decided this was the perfect time to clean up some of my old ads and get rid of some tests I've been running and stuff like that. And so I went off and deleted a bunch of ads. And then I realized that my two best performing ads for one of my best lead in series had been checked off. I deleted them as well. So I frantically, there's a way of like looking at deleted ads on Facebook. You can't just turn them back on, which is insane. You should go turn them back on, but you can go look at deleted ads. Um, and I recreated these deleted ads on Thanksgiving Day, and my CPCs were 40 cents a click. And I was never able to do anything to get those ads to come under 40 cents per click. And this was back when getting ads to be in the low teens was super easy. And there's just something about starting ads at these suboptimal times, like Thanksgiving week, that will cause them to learn wrong and never correct themselves. So next week's out. Cyber Monday is still a pretty big thing. A lot of people are running, like a lot of companies running a lot of hardcore Cyber Monday sales. So that's kind of what I'm like. I'm kind of like Thanksgiving week and the week of first week of after that are kind of like written off. So 8th to 10th really is your best time for starting new ads to then get them to cook right before Christmas. You know, in the week of like the 14th to the 20th, and then that final week leading up to Christmas. So that's kind of probably what I was saying with that. And I mean, if you don't get something up and running between the 8th and the 10th, still try later on. Better late than never still applies, but that's kind of your optimal time if you want to skip the expensive November crush and get it in sort of on the Christmas madness. Um, Good afternoon, Pig Monster. How are you doing? Pig Monster is actually one of my readers who found my books through Facebook ads. So, case in point. So yeah, and also I think something to remember too is that week between Christmas and New Year's, so 26th to the 31st, it's like one of the best voracious reader times of the year. So do strongly think about running a sale that starts somewhere between the 24th and the 26th. I I almost always launch, or back when I was launching my books, almost always launch something on the 24th or the 25th because they just worked really well. I would get just amazing uptick. And I think, and I would always position things being like, do you need a break from your family? Here's a great book, or your Christmas present has arrived, or something like that. You're welcome, Dennis. Um, and this is actually, Big Monster is gonna might be surprised, but like, there's something coming this Christmas. Although you've probably read all the stories in it, but it's gonna be um, a, a anthology of a whole bunch of short stories I've written recently that are currently like not available in any way, shape, or form. So I'm gonna put those out this Christmas. I actually need to put a note in my calendar so I don't forget to do the final formatting and everything on all that. Da, da, da. I live by my calendar. If it's not in my calendar, it does not exist. Um, okay. Of note, actually, speaking of things that I'm putting in my calendar, next week I'm going to be starting to film a whole bunch of new Facebook ad videos. That's sort of like the basics of Facebook ads and understanding how they work now and stuff like that. And then Jill will actually be putting them up for free in an online classroom thing. And that might be something that either you guys might like, or if you have some people who want to get into running Facebook ads, we're going to have that up for everybody, whoever wants to see it for free. So that's a cool thing that we're doing as well. Um, oh, I I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Look at it. I just lucked out that that was in the new releases. Ta-da! Well, there you go. Organic also works. So yeah, so next week I'm actually gonna start recording videos for Facebook ads for everybody. Um, and so that I think that would be pretty cool. Be able to have that out there for everyone to get. And then we're going to um, for our main storytellerlab.net site, we're actually going to be doing a live Facebook ads class again. So just completely and only focused on Facebook ads. A lot of like what I talked about last week's lunch with Mel, diving into a bunch of that stuff and more, um, and sort of setting like the new foundation for how to do Facebook ads in 2026, kicking off um, in January. And I'm gonna like spend like the 3 weeks leading up to that, just like living inside of the Facebook sphere with all the speculation and rumor about what Facebook's going to do next year. So like I'm as well prepared as possible because um, I can't imagine they're going to make a sea change again next year like they did this year because they by switching like there's they just switched everything over to AI and that changed everything. But there's not like another thing beyond AI to switch over to. So I think we're entering into a period of stability. Um, but I'm going to like lose myself in the conspiracy rumor mill just to make sure that there's not some sort of nugget in there that leads me to think that Facebook has got something planned. But I'm pretty stoked about that. I'm looking forward to sort of making like the new definitive. Here's the state of how to do ads right now, um, because I think that it's gonna be really useful for everybody to sort of have a place to level set and like, okay, here's the latest state of everything, because things have changed so much. But I was actually just talking with an author today about we're going with their ads, and I'm like, isn't it nice that like things just sort of consistently work again? Like the thing that should work just works, because that's been an uphill battle. I tell you, this year's been rough. Um, this summer, I was like thinking, I was talking to Jill, I'm like, do we need to like find something else to do to market books other than Facebook? But it's definitely improved. So if you've been hearing a lot of doom and gloom, people saying Facebook ads don't work anymore, my experience is that you're on an upswing, and they are becoming more effective again. And part of that is also the time of year. We're moving into like the best time of year for Facebook ad performance, but it's also like upswinging like I would expect if ads are working well. It's not just kind of getting back to like an acceptable place. It's like doing what ads are supposed to do at the end of the year. So uh, this year it has felt like death by a thousand cuts. I completely agree, Monica. It's been a rough year, absolutely. So, so yeah, I feel like that's kind of all I got to say. But if anybody has any questions or their own thoughts on stuff for next year, um, what you have planned or what you think might be going on or any prognostication, um, I'm curious. I actually got hit up today as someone asking if I would run TikTok ads for them. And I personally don't know enough about TikTok's ad platform to run TikTok ads for someone, but like I feel like I don't know, I've been saying for the longest time like I need to go learn TikTok ads because now you can use them. When they first made them, TikTok ads were for only selling things through TikTok stores on TikTok, but now you can use them just for offsite links to anything. And I'm like, is this 2026 going to be the year I actually have to learn TikTok ads? I don't know. Or is it finally the year where I really actually get serious about doing YouTube ads? It might be one of those two things. Um, Ads on Threads are really interesting. Um, they don't do much. That's the first thing that I found. Ads on Threads, like when I look at people's results on ads, the stuff on Threads does nothing. That being said, um, Threads is a very non-graphical platform. Like, like Threads are I oftentimes skip any image posts on Threads. I'm literally only interested in reading things on Threads. If I see an image or a video, I might drop a like if it's someone that I follow, and I just scroll by. Like I don't engage with that sort of thing. And kind of from what I can see, that's pretty true across the board. The exceptions I will see is if someone's posting statistics or graphs or something like that, they'll get a lot of engagement because there's a lot of discussion around the content that they're promoting. But like if someone just like even like video ads, like for whatever reason, my threads, I just get ads for pretty litter. it's this kitty litter company that has like this kitty litter that's supposed to be the next best things in sliced cheese. Um, and like there's no comments or likes on their ads. Um, so I personally feel like if Facebook were to allow us to do text only ads to threads, they would do really well. But we have to put a freaking image or video in there. And I just feel like with that, it's just not going to work. Um, so kind of where I am. I think we're kind of stuck. Facebook really needs to realize that images and video don't work on threads and that we need the option of doing text only ads on threads. I have considered making like a thin black bar and making that my ad. Because it's like a little black image, and that's the image I upload. Although some people use threads in white mode, so I don't know if that'll work. But you get my point. Like some sort of like the most basic image I could possibly get away with. But anyway, that's yeah, I agree, Rebecca. Actually, my threads ads are also kind of blah. The stuff I get, like I said, it's all litter. Like I shop for things other than kitty litter. Honest. Um, see, social media gurus predicting that 2026 marketing will essentially be focused on storytelling and ad copy. Do you have any thoughts on that? I mean, I've been saying ad copy is storytelling for years now, Chantel. So, um, right, like my whole thing has always been, I mean, not always, but like for at least the last 3 years has been your best primary text is an excerpt. And we need to show, not tell, right? Like we need to show that we're storytellers. We need to show something that causes people to have an emotional connection to our reader. And so I feel like I've been saying that for ages. And now we have a second reason in that we need to explain to the AI what the hell our books are about and that they're books so that the AI shows it to the right person. Um, but yeah, I think that that's always been true. That storytelling has always been the most important thing in advertising. Even OxyClean, like right, those are some of the OxyClean commercials. Those were all about storytelling, right? They had the set, they had the washing machine, they had the dirty clothes. They were showing like, oh, how this is such a big problem. I mean, it was bro marketing, but it was a story. Those ads were always telling us a story, um, and I think that maybe people are kind of waking up to how we actually need to do ads all along. Uh, but other people are saying some sort of other nuance to that that I'm not quite getting. But but yeah, I think more. I suppose more than ever, it's super important because our targeting options have gone away. So our ads have to really focus on filtering out as much as anything else, and that storytelling is what's going to filter out as much as anything else. Dennis, more reader magnets for sure to be building that backlist fundamentals. I agree. That's got to be the big thing, and I need to do it too. I have I have a ton of like major series I've written that have no reader magnets. I have some very good reader magnets, and some of my reader magnets are awesome and don't connect as well as to the series as they should. So I have work to do there too. I think reader magnets are going to need to be a pretty big thing. One of the things I always do with my reader magnets, to my detriment, is I start them too far away, timeline wise, event wise, character development wise, too far away from book one. Um, because I was thinking to myself, well, if it does well, I can fit a whole series in here. So I give myself the room for a whole series. But what I really need to do is I need to write reader magnets that happen like 5 minutes before book one starts, kind of thing. So people can read the reader magnet, which cannot be a prologue or a prelude. It has to be a complete story, and then go right into book one. So that needs to be a major focus for me as well, because tuning that pixel is becoming just so much more important for for ads, because we need that conversion event further down the funnel of a lead generated to help tune Facebook for who our ads should be showing to. Yeah, I think a lot of us don't use BookFunnel as much as we should. And Jill's amazing with BookFunnel. Jill, like, even goodness, this would have been in 2018 or 2019. Jill used BookFunnel and a reader magnet to build a 4,000 person mailing list before she launched book one in a series. So when book one came out, she had like a 4,500 person mailing list to hit with. So it's the thing to do for sure. Is be building that list. And whenever I talk to someone who's like launching a new pen name, I'm like, cool, how big's your mailing list? And they're like, oh, I haven't launched the pen name yet. I'm like, wrong. You're not doing it right. You got to build that audience first. I mean, you don't have to, but you're going to hit the ground running versus starting out at a crawl. It's all there is to it. All right, but I should jet. My voice is, for whatever reason, is really scratchy. I need some tea or something. Um, you guys have an absolutely fabulous American Thanksgiving if you're in America, and if you're not in America, I hope next Thursday is perfectly typical for you. Since we actually celebrated in our household Canadian Thanksgiving, and we're going to celebrate American Thanksgiving. We're doing double duty, so there won't be a lunch with Mal next week. Is one of my ways of saying one of the things I'm saying. But I will see you guys again back live on December 4th. We'll be talking a bunch about like what we're all doing for the holidays. So have yourselves a absolutely fabulous weekend and day and everything. And I'll see you guys in a couple weeks.